What is this room doing here? This is the question that haunted me for over 6 months. In fact, it was one of the biggest mysteries in my house. But now I know what this room is doing here, and you're gonna want to know too. Let me tell you why. When we bought our home 3 years ago, I noticed this odd little room right off of the entryway. The thing is, it doesn't really serve any purpose. It's very small, so you can't do much with it. And because it's directly underneath our master bedroom, it also makes it kind of useless. Because if you were to put a bed in here, you'd be woken up every single morning at 6 a.m. by the person upstairs going to the bathroom. So we've kind of just left this room alone for the last few years. But recently, with everything going on in the world, this empty room has been haunting me. Here's why. When we locked ourselves inside of our homes a year ago, it gave us time to do some much-needed repairs around the house. You know, all those things that you keep putting off because you don't really feel like doing them. But when you have no other choice, you just have to dive in and figure it out. Well, one of these projects was painting all of our trim, all of our doors, all of our baseboards, all of our windowsills, everything. We painted it all white and it looked so good. I felt so accomplished. But then something strange started happening. As the weeks went on, more and more doors started showing signs of wear and tear. I would come into a room and notice a scuff mark or a dent in the door. Now, if you've ever painted a door before, you know that once you get paint on the actual wood, it's very difficult to get off. So I tried a few different things, but nothing seemed to work. And this is when I decided that I had enough. I needed to find out what was going on. So I installed a camera in this room right here to see what was happening. And this is where things get strange. Every single day for about 2 weeks, I would log into the camera to see what was happening. And it was always the same thing. Nothing. No activity whatsoever. There were no signs of forced entry. There was no animals getting in here. There was no weird drafts coming through the door. Nothing. So I decided to install another camera. I figured maybe there was an animal in the attic above this room that was jumping down and doing whatever it was that was damaging the door. But nope, still nothing. Then I decided to change the angle of the camera. Maybe if I could get a better view of the door, I'd be able to catch whatever it is that was going on. So I changed the angle, but I left the position the exact same. And this is when I noticed something. There was a gap between the door and the wall. It wasn't very big, but it was definitely there. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty frustrated at this point. I couldn't believe that something so simple was evading me. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I grabbed a broom and I wedged it into the crack. And then I came back the next day to check the footage and it worked. I finally caught whatever it is that was damaging my doors. And you won't believe what I found? It was our dog. Every single night she would come in here and push her way through the door to go outside. Now, you might be thinking, how did you not notice this before? And to that I say, I have no idea. The funny thing is, she never goes anywhere else in the house at night. She sleeps right next to our bed every single night. So I'm not sure why she would start going on nightly adventures now. But either way, I figured out a way to stop her. So I went to the store and picked up a pack of door draft stoppers. These things are basically like tubes filled with sand that you stick at the bottom of a door to keep cold or hot air from coming in during the winter, and it works perfectly. Not only did it fix my problem, but I think our dog likes it too. Now she sleeps soundly knowing that her nightly adventures will have to wait until morning. Okay, let's rewind a little bit because I think I missed something. Okay, so I told you guys why I started investigating in the first place. But I never actually explained why I think this room is haunted. So let me explain. This is the original floor plan of our home. And you'll notice something very interesting. What is now our office used to be a closet. But that's not important right now. What is important is the fact that this stair landing used to extend all the way across the house. In fact, there were stairs here and here, which made it very easy to get upstairs. However, when the owners of this house built their addition, they kept the original staircase and added a second one in the kitchen. And this is where things get a little bit strange. After talking to the previous owners, they said that they removed the original staircase themselves after they purchased the house. However, when we tore up the carpet in this room, we found these nails. These nails are very old, probably older than the house itself. So this brings up a lot of questions. Did the previous owners lie to us about removing the stairs? Is it possible that these stairs are still in the house somewhere? Or is there some other explanation for these nails? Well, we may never know the answer to those questions, but I think I found something even more interesting. Have you ever watched the movie The Sixth Sense? Well, in the beginning of the movie, Bruce Willis's character, Malcolm Crowe, is giving a lecture about grief. And he says something that has stuck with me ever since I heard it. He said, "Sometimes people do you want to move on because they afraid that they gone. Nah, lose. The ones who are still with them while holding on to the ones who are gone." I thought this was such a profound statement. And I realize that it applies to so many different aspects of life. I think that we often hold on to things that we're afraid of losing. Whether it's a material possession or a loved one or even just a feeling, we're afraid to let go because we're afraid of what we might lose in the process. But I think that letting go is a necessary part of moving forward. We have to learn to accept the things that we cannot change and have faith that we will be okay in the end. You know, I often talk about how important it is to make room for new things in our lives, whether that be physically in our homes or emotionally in our hearts. We have to be willing to let go of the old in order to make room for the new. And I think that this is something that we can all strive to do a little bit better. I think that one of the most difficult things that we can ever do is let go of someone that we love. And it's even harder when that person doesn't want to let go. I've seen firsthand how painful it can be when someone that you love is struggling to let go. You want to be there for them, but you don't know what to do. All you can do is be patient and supportive and hope that they will eventually come around. I think that this is something that we can all relate to in some way. We've lost someone or something that we didn't want to, and we understand the pain that comes along with that. But I also think that we can find comfort in knowing that we're not alone in this. There are others who have gone through the same thing and come out on the other side. We can learn from their example and have faith that we will make it through as well. In the end, I think that we can find peace in knowing that we did everything that we could and that we should not be afraid to let go. Do you struggle with letting go of things or people? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. Bye.